Ellis B. Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
It's Monday night. We have 11 degrees right now. We'll check weather after we hear from John Clemmer. It is John Clemmer, and a piece called Whisper to the Wind. It's from the album called Barefoot Ballet. 28 minutes away from 1 on WHAM in Rochester, New York. We have sports for you. No, we have weather for you. The blizzard warning continues this morning. And right now it's 11 degrees with snow and blowing snow. Bitterly cold with up to 6 inches or more of new snow this morning. Strong westerly winds 30 to 45 miles per hour with higher gusts causing blowing and drifting snow and visibility frequently near zero. Low this morning will be 5 to 10. Windy with snow tapering off to flurries and local squalls today, high in the teens. Small flurries and local snow squalls likely Tuesday night and Wednesday, with a low about 5 and the high Wednesday in the teens. Chance of more snow is 80% today and 60% Tuesday night. Right now we have humidity standing at 84%, winds from the west-southwest, gusting to 35 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 29.50 inches and rising. And at 35 miles per hour and 11 degrees, the wind chill index is approximately 33 below zero. It's cold. However, I'm sure you know that. Especially if you've been out in the last while. It's called Buried Alive in the Blues, and that's Jimmy Witherspoon. The album's called Love is a 5-letter word. It's 22 away from 1 o'clock. Here's Dave Pike. Dave Pike from the album called Time's Out of Mind, and the piece called Morning in the Park. That's an album from last spring. And it includes Kenny Burrell on guitar, Dave Pike on vibes. 1:45 at WHAM in Rochester, New York. Here's Larry Ridley. That is Larry Ridley, and a piece called Indiana Avenue from an album entitled Sum of the Parts from a little more than a year ago, with Sonny Fortune, Cornell Dupree, Onaje Allen Gumbs, Grady Tate, and Earl Bennett. 8.5 away from 1 o'clock, here's Frank Strazzeri. Frank Strazzeri in a piece called After Hours on WHAM in Rochester, New York, where it's 1 o'clock.
News of the hour on the hour from American Information Radio. This is Bob Windsor, and at this hour, President-elect Carter's plans for programs and people are under fire from two major U.S. groups. Leaders of the AFL-CIO are demanding $30 billion be spent now for jobs in the U.S. Mr. Carter has outlined a program to spend $30 billion over 2 years in tax cuts and rebates and jobs programs. In Washington, spokesman Al Zack of the AFL-CIO told ABC News,
"We believe that the key economic problem in the United States is unemployment, and that the solution to that is jobs. And to rely on tax cuts and tax rebates instead of job-creating legislation is, in our mind, the least effective method of getting more jobs."
And AFL-CIO's Al Zack says labor leaders are especially upset with the plan to give a $2 billion tax break to U.S. businesses. The NAACP's National Board of Directors has voted unanimously to oppose the nomination of former federal Judge Griffin Bell as Attorney General because of Bell's civil rights record. In New York, the NAACP's Clarence Mitchell said President Ford would have been re-elected if it were known before the election that Bell would be nominated. A New York fire, that story coming up.
There's a hope that lies in the innocent eyes of children. If you believe in the light that's shining there. If you believe that together we can build a better world tomorrow, let your voice be heard today through care.
If we all shared just a little bit what we have, it would mean so much to people in need. Just being able to help people is a blessing.
It's impossible for us to feed the world's hungry people indefinitely, but we should give them the means to grow their own.
When you help a needy person anywhere, you're really helping humanity everywhere.
Let your voice be heard today through care.
Send your check or money order to CARE, Box 576, New York 10016, or local care office.
All of the more than 1,600 residents of Philmont, New York have been evacuated after fires spread through more than half that village Monday night. Firemen in Philmont are fighting 1 foot of snow and freezing temperatures along with the flames. Scores of minor injuries are reported, but no deaths. The CIA says the U.S. spent only half as much as the Soviet Union last year on intercontinental nuclear attack forces and military manpower. The just-released intelligence report basically concludes that Soviet military activities are now significantly larger than those of the U.S. President-elect Carter flies to Washington Tuesday for top-level briefings on U.S. defense and foreign policy. The lawyer appointed to defend accused Russian spy Ivan Rogalski says he'll fight U.S. attempts to expel Rogalski's alleged contact from the country. ABC's Bill Stewart has more on that story from New York.
Accused spy says he will oppose efforts by the U.S. government to deport a Soviet diplomat said by the FBI to have been Rogalski's controlling agent. Lowenstein said he thinks the diplomat, Yevgeny Karpov, may be a key witness in the case. But Lowenstein acknowledged that because of Karpov's diplomatic immunity, any appearance in court by Karpov would have to be a voluntary appearance. Bill Stewart, ABC News, New York.
Rogalski was arrested by FBI agents last week in New Jersey, charged with trying to pass U.S. secrets to the Soviet Union. Prosecutors say they may wind up their case in the Aspen, Colorado manslaughter trial of singer Claudine Langer by midweek. Ms. Langer is charged with recklessly shooting skier Spider Savage last March. A weapons expert told the court Monday the gun that killed Savage had a defective safety mechanism. In a New York speech Monday, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld says there is no way President-elect Carter can keep his promise to cut the U.S. defense budget by $5 to $7 billion without harming the U.S. Bankers from 8 Western countries have agreed to a $3 billion credit line to bolster the British pound sterling. This is Information Radio News.
Cancer is one of man's deadliest enemies, but surprisingly, nearly 40% of all cancer patients now recover. Early detection, improved care, and rehabilitation services such as those available through your local United Way Cancer Agency are playing a vital role in building this record. For cancer-related information, care, or equipment,
contact the Monroe County Cancer and Leukemia Association at 473-8230.
Sources on Capitol Hill say Governor Carey is planning to ask the legislature to reimpose surcharges on bank and business taxes. Sources say Carey is planning the move to offset the $100 million reduction in personal income taxes proposed in his State of the State message last week. Democratic State Assemblyman Thomas Fry has decided to pass up an offer to become the Assistant Majority Leader. He says he will remain the chairman of the Transportation Committee. Fry receives an additional $5,000 a year in that post. Had he taken the position of assistant majority leader, his yearly pay would have been up by $10,000. A Holly family was left homeless yesterday when fire destroyed their trailer. Firefighters were called to the blaze at 27 Skyline Circle. The mobile home, owned by Michael and Deborah Miller and their 2 children, was a total loss. And nearly 150 homes in the town of Gates were without water service yesterday because of a break in a water line. The break cut service in the Spencerport and Manitou Road area. Officials with the Monroe County Water Authority report that service has now been restored. Work crews had another problem on their hands yesterday because of a water break on Lake Avenue. Service in that area is now back to normal. In sports yesterday, there was no American Hockey League action. Wednesday, the Amerks are in Springfield. In the National Hockey League, Washington beat Detroit 2-0. The New York Islanders over Philadelphia 8-3. In the NBA, Phoenix over Atlanta 93-92. In major college basketball, 5th-ranked Alabama defeated Mississippi 101-88. 17th-ranked Missouri defeated San Diego State 84-69. The forecast includes blizzard warnings. Continue this morning, bitterly cold, with up to 6 inches or more of new snow this morning. Strong westerly winds 30 to 45 miles per hour with higher gusts causing blowing and drifting snow and visibility frequently near zero. Low this morning 5 to 10. Windy with snow tapering off to flurries and local squalls today, the high in the teens. Chance of more snow is 80% today. Presently, the humidity is at 81%, the barometer to 9.54 inches and falling, winds from the west at 27 miles per hour, gusting to 32 miles per hour. Right now we have snow and blowing snow. It's 9 degrees, which is minus 13 degrees Celsius.